It's the Las Vegas Sporstline, presented by CG Technology Sportsbook.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Presented by WagerTalk.com.
Here we go. It's the Wednesday. No, it's not. It's the Thursday edition of the Las Vegas Sportsline. I'm Dave Koken. Ralph Michaels is here. We'll have Will Bernanke from CG Sportsbooks joining us in a bit. Mark Seidel is producing our program. And I think this is a fun story to talk about. Derrick Rose, who really was one of the most immensely talented guys you'll ever see coming out of college, just had one bad injury after another, and it's clearly had a huge impact on his career. But last night was a vintage Derrick Rose performance. Ralph, he threw in 50 as the Timberwolves topped the Jazz 128-125. I thought that was a cool story.
It was. Let me ask you a question. If he scores 49, would this have been a story?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, you know, 50 is a magic number.
I understand. But you know what? To watch the emotion in the interview, it was heartfelt. It really was. Good for him, working back through his injuries and having the big game. I mean, Twitter was abuzz with it last night.
Yeah, even I tweeted about it, and I'm basically ignoring the NBA, but that was worth checking out.
I agree. A great story, and good for him.
Yep, I'm very happy for Derrick Rose. We'll try and get you an update on the golf at TPC Summerlin at some point in the show. A lot of guys still on the course, obviously. I believe 8 under was the lead. Peter Uling or Ulof or whatever his name is, I'm not sure. We will check that out. I'll get to it once we get into something else on the show where I can actually check the phone. Right now, however, we will check what's happening as far as tonight goes. We'll get right into it. Our Thursday, MJ Christensen 4 at 4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put them fours up. Put the fours up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I don't mention often enough about MJ Christensen is they don't just sell jewelry. They'll also repair it. You know, if you've got something that's kind of taken a bit of the worst of it over the years, you can go in and get a new setting or get general repairs done at MJ Christensen. They are full service. So, take a ride down to Boca Park, call them, check out their Facebook page, MJ Christensen Diamonds. Lots going on all the time as we near the holiday season. The actual start of the holiday season is just about here.
Do we have a November gemstone quiz coming up in the next few days?
I will try and find out. I don't know what the November birthstone is. I will look it up, and we'll give away a gift card later in the week. Let's go to the board, and we've got a hockey game tonight. Our Golden Knights will be in St. Louis to face the Blues. I would think it's fair to say neither team is particularly happy with their start to the season, Ralph.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Knights. They're number 30 in the power play, 12.2%. Their road games, they're 0-3 as a dog, and in their road games, they haven't topped 2 goals yet. I don't think, you have to continue to fade them until they get some scoring going.
But that would mean playing on St. Louis tonight, and I don't know that I
want to
do that because the Blues, they're having worse problems because the offense is going to come around for the Golden Knights. And the goaltending's fine. When your goaltending's not fine, you've got a problem. Because it can just be contagious to the rest of the team. There's just not much you can do to win games. And Jake Allen is a mess right now for St. Louis. I think there's already a hot seat coach in Mike Yeo. And the Blues right now are a team that I would not be investing in. I did not play the game here, but if I had to play it, I would go on VGK's side. I think they've got a good chance to win here.
Yeah, Allen was injured that last game, and Chad Allen goalied, and they were surprised Allen was back this quick, and he'll be back in between the pipes. But I agree with you. I don't know what the worst of 2 evils is. I'm passing on this game.
College football, we've got some action in a big game in the AAC tonight. We'll start with the action as Ohio, coming off a couple of good games, takes on Western Michigan. The Broncos. Central Michigan is the Chippewas. Western Michigan is the Broncos. They had their winning streak snapped in their last game. Their quarterback got hurt. Wasink might be out for the season. But the interesting thing is if you're downgrading Western Michigan, I don't know if that's a wise thing to do. They've got a very talented young quarterback, he's a freshman, and he's above the usual level of MAC quarterback recruit, and he actually played well in his first start, his first extended appearance. I didn't play this game, and I can see where you can make a case for Ohio because they are getting hot like they often do at this time of year. But I don't think I'd lay points into Western Michigan here because I think the line has been overcompensated by the bettors for the quarterback injury. I don't know that it's that much of a downgrade.
Well, here's how respected Caleb Ellaby is. They already were talking now that after the surgery, Wozniak may be ready for the bowl. Well, that would allow Ellaby to redshirt because there's only 4 games left in the regular season.
Right.
So if you're thinking this guy is that highly touted that you really need to get that redshirt year, it just shows 2 important notes for Ellaby. I mean, he was 23 of 28.
Nice.
82% playing 3 quarters.
Against a good team.
Yeah, he had 3 quarters of action. Now he's back at home, which is important if you're going to make your first start. And he was in for spring, which is an incredible boost to learn this offense. One note, this was close to being a Joe's angle of the play day. I'm going to share this with you now. One of a couple great systems and angles we have. This is just plain. If you bet on a college football team off back-to-back wins by 27 or more points against an opponent that allowed 37 or more, that's a 71% win margin all the way back to 1989, going 128, 53, and 4. Now, that is a play on Ohio and a play on Fresno this week. Again, certainly good enough to be the Joe's angle, but we have a better one than that.
There you go. And it's not on this game. Well, actually, it is on this game. Excuse me.
It's on this next one, but they're going to have to wait to hear that.
Yes, the Northern Illinois-Akron game. So we're going to kind of just give this one just a brief look now, and then we'll tell you about the angle later on. One thing I will say about Northern Illinois, they beat me last week, and I thought that they would have some trouble with what I thought was an improving BYU squad, but BYU was the second-best team on the field in Provo from start to finish last week. They were not impressive at all, and when you're not impressive, it generally means the other team is. Northern Illinois didn't do a lot offensively in the game.
204 yards,
but their defense was absolutely terrific, and they got the outright win at BYU. So the Huskies, as is often the case, proving to be dangerous road underdogs, particularly in non-conference games. They've got a history of doing that. This, of course, is not a non-conference game, nor are they the underdog.
Yeah, the story on this game is really the total. You saw it as low as 37 today. Now it's 37.5. Dave, since 2010, there's only been 13 college football games with a total of 37.5 or lower. In those games, 2, 10, and 1 over under. Sometimes Vegas can't make a line low enough, and there's still value to that. So 37.5 for under with a total, 2, 10, and 1 over under.
Figures to be a fast-moving game with a lot of running and a lot of defense.
2 good defenses.
The weather's not going to be great.
2 best defenses.
Yep. And here's the spotlight game tonight. We're saving the NFL game for the marquee matchup, but this is actually the best game of the night. Temple in Central Florida. The good news for both teams is it looks like their stars will be playing. Armstead, he's a fabulous running back for Temple, and he is their most important offensive component. He is good to go, and Mackenzie Milton is good to go as well. They were trying to keep it kind of under wraps. Heupel wasn't saying anything, but that was clearly to get Temple.
Little gamesmanship.
Yeah, it was all gamesmanship. He was trying to get Temple to have to practice to face one of 2 different style quarterbacks, but word got out on Tuesday. It's like Milton's fine. Okay, he's walking around. There's no hitch in his giddy up. He's ready to go, and this is a big game, so he's going to play. So the Stars will be out there tonight. I don't know. This ended up in the I don't know category for me. I respect Temple's defense. I don't know about their offense, although it does get better with Armstead on the field. UCF has got the pressure on them, but they've been dealing with that for quite some time now, and they keep on winning these games anyway. I just could not find a good reason to support either team. 20
straight wins now for UCF, but, on the flip side, Temple has covered 8 straight on the road. You look at Jeff Collins. Jeff Collins, people may not know who he is. He used to be the Florida DC, and look what he's done at Temple now. The last 3 games, they allowed 196 to East Carolina, 284 to Navy, 350 to Cincinnati. Jeff Collins is 13-3 against the spread his last 16 games. If I had to make a lean on this, it would be on Temple to keep it close. On Thursdays, we do our College Behind the Counter report with CG Sportsbooks.
normally Jason Symbol, but Jason's tied up today. Instead, we get Will Bernanke. What's going on, Moneyline guy? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Dave. How you doing today?
Good. Hey, listen, before we get into the colleges, let's check out some action as to where the betting is taking place on the hockey game between the Golden Knights and the Blues, as well as tonight's Raiders-49ers matchup. How about the hockey game first?
Yeah, the line came down a little bit, 135 to 120, but the handle's not that high right now. The money usually comes in 2 to 3 hours before the games these days. It's not like it was last year where it's like 12 hours before you start to see money pour in. But right now, it looks like they're on the Knights. 65% of the cash is coming in on them, and that'd probably be the same, closer to face-off there.
And we'll also check out the Bay Area battle, which I guess it's for bragging rights. I think
the
this
marquee
game,
matchup tonight.
Well, it's still NFL Thursday night on Fox. I think this game will do decent action out here because of our proximity to the West Coast, probably more in northern Nevada than down here. But there'll be enough bets on this game. What's happening right now?
Well, yeah, last I heard, they're calling it the Bosa Bowl.
Yeah,
so
really.
I'm sure they'll have a few more nicknames come kickoff. But yeah, it's been all Raider money so far. That's because of the quarterback situation for San Francisco. Who knows what Nick Mullins is going to give you here? But open at 3.5 down to 2.5, and 81% of all the cash is on the Raiders. 90% of it is money line bets too. So it looks like we're going to need the Niners.
Will, Dave, and I just talked about the game tonight where each of the best players on each team was questionable. It looks like they're both going to play in Temple UCF.
Yep.
Are people still on this 20-game win streak for the Knights?
Not as much as I thought. Especially, maybe bettors are hesitant after what happened 2 weeks ago. I couldn't believe that when they announced Milton right at kickoff that he wouldn't play, and I had to go to social media and look around, look at it, and every bettor was just up in arms. Why didn't they say anything? They couldn't believe it, and they might think this could happen again. So I'm seeing some hesitation on bettors to back UCF, even though Milton is listed as probable. So really, it's about 56% of the cash is on Central Florida right now to stay undefeated and cover.
We also have a game with injuries tomorrow night as Colorado takes on Arizona. What's the updated information on that one?
Yeah, it's all Colorado money. As far as Tate goes, it's kind of the same thing here. Let me see his latest update.
I think he's going to be on the field myself.
Hey. Yeah, he played last week, so...
But the question is on the Colorado wide receiver, Chenault. I mean, is he going to go? And
yeah.
He is a huge component in that offense. He's their game breaker.
Yeah, he's questionable, right. It's toe there. And it's actually still betting Colorado in spite of that. 78% of the money's on Colorado, and this line's down to 2.5 now.
So this looks like it might be a pros versus Joes because I'm seeing where ticket count looks like it's more Arizona. Money more Colorado, is that right?
Right now, it's just like 60-40 on Arizona. Yeah, 60-40 on Arizona right now.
All right.
Moving to the Big Ten, and we have Iowa, Purdue. Purdue, off the letdown situation last week after beating Ohio State, everyone understands that. Iowa off the loss. Iowa probably the best road team over the last 5 years in the Big Ten and one of the best in the country. Do people think Purdue will bounce back or Iowa State rebound off their loss?
Well, both teams had similar games last week where they, could have won and they didn't, and it's showing at the window right now. It's running fairly even.
Georgia and Kentucky is a really fascinating matchup. Obviously, Georgia's the better team, and they're the favorite. But Kentucky has embraced this role this year, and they're appearing to be one of those dangerous dogs. The line's big enough so that I'm guessing you're getting decent split action here. Is that right?
Yeah. There's slight liability to Kentucky so far, but I'm expecting this to shift come Saturday, considering Georgia's a much bigger public team when it comes to football, not basketball, but football. And, Kentucky, listen, they won last week, but certainly a game I'm sure Missouri bettors felt they could have covered as well, if you back Missouri there. But, Kentucky's had one of those seasons. It's been a magical ride, and I do suspect some bettors might want to continue on that ride here or think they'll at least cover. But then certainly you got Georgia who's, playing for... this is a playoff game for them, basically.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, they can't take another loss.
No, absolutely not. So you would think bettors would come in here and back Georgia, certainly on game day.
Well, the luster is off the Buckeye sheen now off the loss to Purdue, and Ohio State has failed to cover 4 straight. They're off a loss, off a bye. Do people think they're going to rebound, or do they want to continue to fade them?
looks like they're going to fade him again. Or maybe this is more about Nebraska here, because this is like the third time I can remember where money early in the week has come in hard on Nebraska. It was against Northwestern.